Just on the theme of agents, I browsed the acting subreddit.
The Reddit rundown.
Yeah, Econ's really proud of that when he came up with that earlier. Already read it. Shit names aside. So I read this post this morning, which I thought was very interesting because, people talk about actors talk about reps a lot. They talk about agents a lot and changing reps and getting reps um, but what I saw this morning was a post from an actor, and I went back down through the post to kind of gather a bit more information. But basically, the title is I cold submitted to 60 talent agencies listed in the IMDb Top 1000. So these would be the top talent agencies in the US and some of them in the world. Some of them would be international, but they'd be pretty, they'd be pretty, in a lot of people's eyes, unapproachable agencies. But so out of the 60 submissions, and basically this actor, he sent a very basic email, which is basically, here's my stuff. I'd love to hear more from you. But he sent his headshots, his IMDb Pro, and his resume. And out of the 60 submissions, 9 agencies responded, which is quite a high number. 2 asked for self tapes, 1 passed and 1 scheduled a Zoom and later offered representation. 2 asked for Zoom meetings, both offered representation. 1 requested an in person meeting and also offered representation. 1 requested more materials, then ghosted. 3 replied but lagged on replying, felt iffy, and didn't move forward. So out of 51 agencies did not respond at all, but he got 9 responses, which is pretty good. So 60 emails sent, no response from 51, got 9 replies, and 4 agencies offered representation from cold submissions. Those are pretty good numbers, to be honest. And
Terrific numbers.
to send 60 emails is not that hard. It sounds like a lot of emails, but it's not that hard because you're basically sending the same thing. You're just personalizing to every person, going, "Hey, here I am." He actually put the text of his email, which is I think a lot of people would be interested in because that's a lot of
Yeah.
people don't know how much to say or how much personality do they put in, how long is it, but he kept it short, which I think is sort of instrumental. Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
he
Go
he
ahead, read that.
he said it was a version of this. My name is blank. I am an actor living in whatever market he's in. I don't know. I am seeking either commercial or theatrical representation. I have included links to my work. Thank you for your time. And then the links. And that was it. That's a really straightforward, very simple email because there's a tendency to feel like you need to ask in a certain way or sort of disguise it as something else as well when it's not. Everybody knows what a submission is. They understand it, you understand it. I'm submitting my work to you, obviously to talk about representation. Here it is. Thanks for your time. And that I think
Yeah.
that simplicity would serve actors if they are approaching agencies. You don't have to, you know, put a load of flowers around it to kind of make it seem more palatable. It's at the end of the day, they know what you're doing. Now, maybe some agents feel differently about that, and I'd love to hear people's take on it. But
I thought it was very interesting how um stripped down and simple this email was. There's no like these a lot of people are trying to crack, showing their personality, trying to stand out on a cold email, which is almost impossible. A lot of people are referral only. So this is
absolutely,
his results are amazing. Anyway, I just want to put that because I'm pretty shocked because I try to be pretty simple with my emails, but
yeah,
that's way less personality that even I have than than I would have assumed
I
would be
agree.
successful. So
I
that's
agree.
notable.
It was I'd not I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it put that stripped down before. But it was interesting that
Hmm.
that got responses. And it speaks to kind of
Exactly.
the amount of time that people have to spend to read these emails, if they even read them. Um, you're being respectful of their time too. And I guess if you have a decent body work. Now, this actor, I will just say a couple of things about this actor. He
Yeah, let's get
described
into that.
he's a male, 25 to 35. His ethnic background, he's Cuban, he said, but looks Caucasian. So that's just to give you male, 25 to 35, Cuban heritage, looks Caucasian. That's what he has said about himself and his demographic because people did ask. So um
And
you know,
people also asked about his credits. So
yeah,
let's just give a picture here. People
yeah,
asked about his credits. He has a couple co-stars, and he
and a guest star.
just did a guest star, and this was before the pandemic. So he's newish enough, but not. but still, you know, building talent, a new talent.
Yeah, absolutely. But before the pandemic is a while ago. You know, that's to get that kind of response from credits that are like 2019 and back. That's pretty good, and it
Yeah.
speaks
Yeah.
to. I think there's an assumption in a lot of people because I've been guilty of this, as well, where I feel like people don't want to hear from me. You know what I mean? I feel like, and that's maybe partly a cultural thing as well. It might be, there's a bit of an Irish aspect of that where
So you started a podcast.
I started a podcast, so I wouldn't shut the fuck up, so people have no choice but to listen to me every week. Um, but there's a thing about I don't want to bother people. There's a kind of an attitude. I know it'll be fine. I don't want to bother them. I'll leave them alone. It's culturally not that acceptable or celebrated in Ireland to like you to big yourself up or brag about yourself. You know what I mean? It's just not that kind of culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The the
tall puppy
tendency,
syndrome.
yeah, like that Australian concept of tall poppy syndrome. A little bit of that, but also slightly different in that, like, I know I'll just leave them alone, or the tendency is towards like humility to a fault. You know what I mean? Where it's sort of like overly overly humble, or I don't want to. No, I wouldn't say anything. I don't want to brag about anything, but so
Mm.
there's some of that
Yeah.
I still have to deal with every so often in myself, where I have to go, just fucking, life is too short. Just contact people. You're also doing them a favor. Like, if you believe in yourself, you're
Mhm.
offering value
Mhm.
to them as well. It's not like it's a one-sided favor. Oh, we'll take you on as a favor to you. It's not about that at all. Here's a working relationship. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is what I bring. If that's something that, you think will bring value to you and to your agency, great. Let's work together. So I have to
Yeah.
take some of the emotion out of it.
I will add, I think that's is great. And this is, to juxtapose, part of the reason why we want to talk about this is as bleak as it might be on casting networks. Here we go with a great response. This is a current recent story. And this guy got commercial representation. This guy got representation from being bold. And I will add about this whole thing about, putting yourself out there. There's nothing, this is the lowest bar, is sending a cold email. Like, that is the lowest bar of putting yourself out there. You know what I mean?
It
Like
is, but
back
it's
in the
very difficult
day,
for
right?
people.
No, no,
Mentally,
I
it's
know
very
that.
difficult.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't wanna disrespect it. I'm just putting in perspective,
I know. I get what
um,
you're saying. Yeah.
versus back in the day, I literally, and I'm scared to do it now. A lot of people say, "You gotta get on the phone." A lot of people are making cold phone calls,
Oof.
and I remember back in the day, I would make a cold phone call to an agent. I would be so stuttering. I would be sweating bullets. And I can't even verbatim repeat it to you. I have had the most embarrassing cold phone calls. You would have thought it was out of a TV show. And my point
I
is
wish you had
once I
recordings of
got
them.
into that, once I got into that, like cold email, dude, I'll blast it all day.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like I'm celebrating these cold emails. Anyway, so to wrap up, to just iron out, did you mention that whole talent link? Did you mention the fact that
So I
the
haven't
talent
gotten to
link?
that part yet. So there's a thing called Talent Link, which you can do through Actors Access, where basically I think you pay a small fee, and then they will submit to agents on your behalf, or maybe you submit through them. I don't know exactly how it works. I used a similar one a few years back, where a similar type of thing, where you
Mhm.
send emails out to a bunch of casting directors, or sorry, not agents rather. Um, so through Talent Link, you can do this as well. So he also, after he had done these code submissions, submitted through Talent Link, and through that, 6 agencies offered him representation. 2 were across the board representation, and 4 were commercial only. What was interesting about it was 2 of the agencies that hadn't responded to his cold emails did respond through
Mhm.
Talent Link. So maybe that's another way to do it. But
I think that's great. I think that's great to
I think
know.
it's great because I think it's all valid. They're all valid ways of. But the fact that he did both and had a sort of a comparison, but also got a response from the cold emails.
It's great to know that Talent Link, hey, it works for some people. Email us Actors Guide Podcast at Gmail if if you have stories about this. Some people have success on Talent Link, and it also goes to show you, we don't know if they even open up these emails. Maybe he got the wrong email. Maybe he got the wrong assistant. Maybe the assistant was snoozing that day. So there, it goes to show you that sometimes email's not reliable. And we don't know about that part of the story.